our relationships will only begin to be accepted when we receive that stamp of approval, marriage, upon us, who are uniquely defined by our relationships. Since Anita Bryant, conservatism has only strengthened in our country and in the church, not lessened. And justice will be ours only when the voice in the church for us is at least as strong as the voice in the church against us.
This all seems very familiar to me. Anyone see Milk at all? Did you cry like I did? And why did you cry? Because we're talking about the same things we were talking about 35, 40 years ago. But you know what's going to be different this time? We're not going to organize in a silo. We're not going to separate the gay people from the black people, from the women, from the poor people. Our movements are inextricably linked, and none of us will experience justice that we fight for, or experience the love that we want to be divine, unless we fight together.
Harvey Milk was assassinated November 27, 1978. That was 30 years ago this year. And 30 years later, we are still fighting for the same issues. Anita Bryant may be in her 80s, but that mentality is alive and well today. We just have a new breed of Anita Bryants that want to think that somehow they are more righteous or more deserving than what we are. As a duly elected official, it is my obligation to see that everyone, no matter who they are, race, gender, sexual identity, expression, orientation, it doesn't matter. Everybody has an equal seat at the table, and everybody is respected for who and what they are.
Actually is a new civil rights movement is that nobody's sicking dogs on gay people or watering them down with giant hoses in the South. So the discrimination is covert instead of overt. But it's real, I don't have to tell you that, and it's bullshit. And Bruce was talking about the county council people who have dropped like flies from supporting the anti-discrimination ordinances for the county. I don't think that the liars have gotten to them. I think they're cowards. They are absolute chicken shit cowards. They are afraid to stand up to the homophobes in their district. They care a hell of a lot more about getting reelected than they give a damn about you or anybody, because they're selfish, annoying bastards.
It's very important that county council members know that I'm not making this stuff up. No, really. Some people think I'm making this stuff up. When I tell them that people who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender have been denied housing, have been denied jobs, have been fired, have been given less than acceptable public accommodations, some people think I'm making it up because no one is complaining to them. No one in their district has said anything about this to them. And I look at them and I say, I wonder why they're not complaining to you.
Here we go again. We get great momentum. We got 11 county councilmen on supporting this bill. We had 80 people in the state, 80 of my colleagues supporting House Bill 1400 in the state legislature last session. We got great momentum, and what happens? The bottom drops out. We lose 4 co-sponsors at county council. We can't get it through committee at the state legislature to move it to the floor. We drop the ball. The reason we lose 4 co-sponsors at county council is because the other side is exerting a little more energy and is much more intimidating. And I can tell you that is exactly what happened at the state level. You and your friends and your family, not just here in Pittsburgh and Allegheny County, but across the state, have got to get on the stick and get in front of our color. We know, we've done polling in Pennsylvania, over 80% of the voters in Pennsylvania believe that this ought to be part of the law, that the human rights of GLBT people ought to be included as a protected class. We need to do that. They need to be reminded about this. We have a small group out there advocating against this, and they don't want GLBT people to enjoy the status of a protected class. It is a very small group of people, but they have some very big names and very big institutions behind them.
Does anybody really get what the whole big deal is? Really? All we're asking for is one simple thing: equal rights for all. Not special rights for some, but equal rights for all. And that's it. And I think that there was a country called the United States that was supposed to be built upon that very principle. And I get to meet with the Carnegie Mellon and University of Pittsburgh and UPMC officials that are bringing in new companies, and I get to meet with the CEOs and the COOs and the CFOs from all these different cities around the country that are coming in and looking at Pittsburgh and wondering why they should be here. I can tell you with all that over 15 years and hundreds of meetings, never once did someone say, boy, you know what? We would come to Pittsburgh, but you know, you guys are just too tolerant of those meetings. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. And if you look at Fortune 500 companies that are expanding and growing, and look at regions around the country that are expanding and growing in the new economy, you'll find a direct parallel to tolerance and to understanding and of being proactive in government in order to make it a welcoming government for all, because people want talent to help to expand their economy and their base.
Why are we here in the rain to fight for something that's guaranteed to us in the Constitution of the United States of America? Why are we standing here in the rain trying to convince elected officials to live up to the oath of office that they took to uphold the Constitution of the United States? The city of Pittsburgh, long ago, back in the middle of the last century, in the 1980s, passed such a bill that our good friend Amanda Green has proposed to this council. Why are they afraid of an issue? And the bill that Amanda Green put up, and I hope you all look at it, reflects pretty much what the city of Pittsburgh enacted decades ago. And not only are they backing away from the legislation, think of this. Yeah, the word sexual identity is in the bill. But what about folks that are in a wheelchair? What about single parents? What about the other people that are in that bill? Because we can't deal with that crowd, then we're going to say no to everybody else. And that's exactly the argument that's being put forward in the county council. It takes every kind of people to make this country what it is. And you can't stand back and wince when someone says we're putting up legislation that embodies the principles of our Constitution and the ideals that we hold near and dear. And it is high time that my colleagues in the Democratic Party start living up to the ideals. We did not vote out the Bush administration and the Republican Party because we wanted to trade it for another party that holds on to these same ideals. Change is here, folks. We believe in that change, and we're going to carry this fight to the county council. I'll respectfully have discussions with the county council members, and if they are a little wobbly on the courage side, then we'll give them the courage. We'll give them the support and the motivation to go out and do the right thing.